You are charging someone for a contract they never signed. Maybe you don't realize it, but every time you grow silently frustrated, you're revising clauses that exist only in your mind. We sit at the table, look at the other person, and while they speak, act, or remain silent, we mentally flip through this invisible agreement. Every gesture is compared to a secret expectation, a behavior we anticipate without ever communicating it. We create silent rules and then feel disappointed when they aren't followed. We turn internal needs into external obligations. We believe that if there were real connection, the other would know exactly what we are feeling. And so, silence stops being neutral. It becomes a test, a minefield of loyalty that the other person doesn't even know they're crossing. Over time, we begin to write everything down, every unspoken effort, every invisible concession, every act of care we offer while expecting something specific in return. An imaginary emotional accounting is born, a book of debts that only we can see. And when the other doesn't reciprocate the way we expected, something shifts inside. Indignation arises, a sense of injustice, the idea that we're being wronged, even though nothing was ever agreed upon. Judgment enters the scene. We start evaluating every action as right or wrong, fair or insufficient, without realizing that we're using as a measuring stick a contract that never was presented. This constant demand distorts our vision. We no longer see the real person. We see only the version that should exist to fulfill our expectations. And while we edit this imaginary contract, we forget something essential. Relationships are not sustained by obedience, but by freedom. The weight of this internal narrative begins to suffocate. We live in a continuous state of lack, feeling like creditors of an affection that may be being offered, just not in the way we imagined. Until something breaks. We realize uncomfortably that no one signed anything, that we are charging emotional interest on a debt that was never incurred. The other didn't fail. They simply didn't read a clause that never existed outside our mind. This is the moment of awakening, when we understand that the other is not a debtor, but a free individual, free from our hidden expectations, our silent demands, our invisible tests. And liberation begins when we tear up this imaginary paper, when we replace demand with conversation, judgment with clarity, silence with real dialogue. Because only when we abandon the role of emotional creditors do we make room for relationships that don't need to be guessed, only lived.